They didn't try to silence me because I was wrong. They tried to silence me because I was right, because what I'm about to share isn't harmful. It's dangerous, not to you, but to the illusion, to the emotional structure that women use to stay one step ahead. The moment a man hears this and truly absorbs it, something inside him hardens, not in bitterness, but in awareness, and that changes everything. You begin to notice the patterns you once overlooked. The pauses in her text that felt mysterious now feels strategic. Her silence that once made you chase now feels like a trap. You stop reacting to her moods like she's the weather. You stop needing her validation like it's oxygen. And without that power over you, she starts to panic. Not outwardly, but in ways you can sense. She starts adjusting subtly, but the fear is real. You become unpredictable. That's what terrifies her most. You're not jumping at her every cue anymore. You're not trying to decode her mixed signals. You're no longer scrambling to keep her interested. You've stopped reacting to the push and pull of her emotional rhythm, and that unpredictability when a man detaches emotionally from her control. That's what shatters the script. She's always counted on to keep you on a leash. You're not cruel. You've just become distant. Not because you want to punish her, but because you've seen through the act. The games no longer amuse you. The emotional bait no longer hooks you. You're not the man who used to beg for clarity to prove your worth to win her back. That man died the moment you understood the hidden script. Women never wanted you to read. Now you live with clarity, with stillness. You're not cold, you're composed. You're not explaining every emotion, not defending every action, not sending late-night essays trying to be understood. You've learned the greatest act of male power is silence, not as man, Iasian, but as protection. You're not distant because you don't care. You're silent because you've learned not to waste your energy convincing someone who never truly listened. And that silence speaks volumes. That silence isn't emptiness, it's power, it's grounded, it's full of presence. She feels it when you walk into a room. She sees it in your eyes that you're no longer available to be played. You're not accessible like before, not emotionally porous. You've built a wall not to keep love out, but to keep your soul protected. She feels the weight of that boundary. She knows she can't cross it anymore. And here's the part most men miss. You don't need to be flawless to be loved. You don't need six-pack abs, a smooth tongue, or an endless string of accomplishments. You've been told to perform, to perfect, to posture. But that was never the requirement. What she truly wants, what actually touches her, is presence, not performance, not pressure, just grounded, unwavering, masculine stillness that doesn't flinch under her gaze. Being present isn't about texting her all day or planning extravagant dates to impress her. It's not about constantly checking in or performing emotional backflips for approval. Presence is about standing still in your truth. It's about eye contact that doesn't waver, breath that doesn't rush. A man who isn't trying to sell himself, just being who he is. That's the kind of presence that anchors her chaos and makes her drop her walls. You could be sitting beside her saying all the right things and still feel invisible. If your energy is needy, if your self-worth is dangling on her response, if your spirit is pleading for attention, she will feel that, and it repels her. Because a woman wants to rest in a man's strength, not carry his insecurity. If your center is scattered, if your core is soft, she can't trust it. She won't lean in, but we now. When you're truly present, when your energy isn't chasing, but simply rooted, everything changes. You don't have to speak much. You're to chase her. Your stillness draws her in. She starts thinking about you, obsessing, even not because you impressed her, but because you were felt, because you didn't need her to feel whole. And that to a woman is magnetic. You stop trying to be impressive. You stop playing roles. You stop being everything and start being one thing solid. You don't fear being. Miss Ellen speaks for you. You don't have understood anymore because you understand yourself. You no longer waste your breath trying to convince anyone. You just show up as truth. And when you do, your energy alone sets the tone. Your calm presence becomes the frame. You're not here to earn her affection. You're here to honor your peace. Let's talk about your energy. the unspoken part of you that enters the room before your words do. That subtle charge that communicates everything without speaking, your posture, your eyes, your breath, your vibe. These are your true introductions. If they scream, "Please like me," she hears it, and worse, she tests it. Not to be cruel, but to feel your frame. To test if it's solid or if it bends under pressure. Women don't trust softness unless it's built on strength. If you're soft because you're afraid of conflict, if you shrink to keep her, if you bend just to avoid rocking the boat, she won't feel safe. She'll feel burdened. She'll respect you less and less until quietly she's gone. Maybe physically, maybe emotionally, but she won't be present. And once respect fades, love can't stay. You teach people how to treat you with the energy you allow. If you keep accepting disrespect, if you fear being alone so much that you'll tolerate chaos, you're training her to believe she can cross any line without consequence. And when that happens, love becomes manipulation. She doesn't stay because she wants you. She stays because she knows you won't leave. That's not connection, that is captivity. But when you walk in purpose, when your standards are clear and your soul is intact, everything shifts. She stops testing and starts wondering if she's even worthy of you. Your presence demands alignment. She rises or disappears, and either way, it serves you, because the man with boundaries is the man with value, not in what he has, but in what he honors. A man who guards his peace is a man no woman can play. Stop over-explaining. Stop begging to be understood. If she's repeatedly crossing lines you've clearly drawn, it's not a misunderstanding. It's a power play. You don't need long texts. You don't need one more conversation. You need distance. You need silence, because that silence, it cuts deeper than words ever could. She feels it in the space where your energy used to live. In the absence of your presence, she sees her behavior clearly. You don't ghost to be petty. You vanish to protect your sanity. You don't throw tantrums. You exit with dignity. You stop watching her stories. You stop checking in. You don't block her. You simply let go. And that lack of reaction, that's what rattles her. That's what forces her to reflect. Because when a man stops needing to be needed, he becomes dangerous in the most sacred way. You weren't created to orbit her moods, to beg for affection, to be addicted to her attention. You were built for something bigger, a mission, a legacy, a life beyond just being liked. That's why men on purpose are so attractive, because they move with direction. And a man with direction can't be dominated. That's the man she obsesses over long after he's gone. You don't shrink when she pulls away. You don't pause your growth when she gets cold. You keep building. You stay focused. Your life is full with awe without her. Your purpose fills the space her inconsistency used to occupy. And that fullness, that self-sufficiency, draws her in more. And any words ever could. She wants a man she has to rise to me. Not one who crumbles under pressure. Your purpose becomes your filter. Through that, only the right ones make it through. And when the wrong one leaves, you don't chase. You evolve, you grind, you reconnect with the fire inside you, not to prove her wrong, but to honor what's right for you. You no longer build for her gaze. You build for your name, for your future. That's where your power begins. The women who ignored you now watch, but it's too late. You're not seeking validation anymore. You've grown beyond the boy who needed her to see his worth. You've become the man who saw it for himself. And that shift, it's irreversible. It's not arrogance, it's embodiment. You don't beg for space in someone else's world. You create your own. And in that world, only the worthy are invited. A real detachment isn't about not feeling. It's about not being enslaved by feeling. You can love and walk away. You can care and still say no. You can forgive and never return, because you've stopped chasing outcomes. You've started honoring alignment. That makes you powerful. That makes you rare. And that's what makes you unforgettable. You are not the backup plan. You are the blueprint. Let her call you distant. Let her say you've changed, because you have. You've stopped explaining. You've stopped leaking your heart into hands that never held it with care. You lead now with purpose, with clarity, with silence that speaks louder than any declaration of love. And when you do, that you're no longer an option. You're the standard. You are the shift.